Hi, my name is Dr. Julie Fietta, and today I'm going to introduce you to a digital innovator who has created a new app for individuals affected by dementia and their caregivers. This is an app for Apple Watches specifically, and I'm really excited to tell you about it. So let's get to the interview. So we have Jon on the line here. Jon, one of the things that I really appreciate about your approach to technology is the way that you just really keep the intended user in mind as you're designing apps specifically for people with dementia and then their caregivers. It's a really unique population, and you're thinking about their specific needs, their preferences, maybe their experiences with technology. But you'll be able to talk about that better than I will. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you, Julie. You're exactly right. We approached probably 400 to 500 people through the I-Corps program, through a program at Stanford University. And we knew that in order to build a great platform, that we had to understand exactly how to make something work for caregivers. We like to say that it was designed by caregivers for caregivers. In that process, we learned so many things from so many people about additional features, about additional benefits that they want, and about what concerns they have. Every family is kind of different, but some people are really focused about wandering or falling or the combination or something completely different. So, by talking to so many families, we learned kind of how to build the right product. And that is something that we will always strive to constantly redo. Every month, we'll be talking to people and figuring out how can we improve what we've developed.
That's awesome. There's a big trend in the research world toward what we call participatory design research, and that's engaging end users in the research process, not just as subjects, but all along the way, helping you design the products, helping you design the research to test the products. And that's really important because you truly have to involve people by caregivers for caregivers, as you said. That's a really important concept. So great work with that.
I absolutely agree. And I'll add this. So we're currently funded by the National Institutes of Health for the platform that we're building. And the main focus of this work is going to be engaging with families, people with dementia, as well as their caregivers, spouses, family members, et cetera, to get that input. So, and we have experts on our team that do what's called UX, UI, but user experience, user interface, to help us make that product better for them. So
that's awesome. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your company, a little bit about Amisa, and then talk to us about this project, designing this app for dementia populations?
Sure. So it started roughly 4 years ago. I was actually a veteran. I did Navy Special Operations for 25 years, and I was doing research at MIT. And a serendipitous, series of events happened in my life. I was working on some tracking systems and realized that families like my own had a concern about loved ones with dementia. And then started reaching out to some other people, and they said that solutions for individuals that wander or fall were kind of lackluster. And so it kind of, at the time, I couldn't do much about it, but I soon realized that there was a tremendous opportunity to help millions of families around the world to develop a solution that could help them. We know that primarily women are caregivers, and it's exhausting work, and they need help. So what we're building is a platform. It's an application that uses wearable devices. Specifically, we're building on the Apple Watch that enables families to share information and track the health and safety of loved ones. But at the same time, we also learned that researchers want behavioral data to understand how that impacts the longitudinal progression of disease. And it's very hard to do that. It can sometimes take them 10 years to develop a plan, to get funding, to get research. So we realized that we can use this platform to not only help families, but help researchers to understand.
Really important work you're doing. You just talked about the different populations or the variation in the dementia population that you want to reach, but I'm curious about who this will be useful for, specifically on the spectrum of I've never used a smartphone, or I can't live without my smartwatch. I mean, who's this going to be useful for? And can it accommodate people who maybe are new to smart technology or to wearing smart technology?
So, Julie, that is a very important question. It's a very difficult question. We know that there is a growing group of individuals that are developing dementia and Alzheimer's right now that are already wearing smartwatches, wearable devices. And so they're very familiar with it. They've expressed a lot of interest in using an application even before they start losing their cognitive abilities. They have the inkling, like, I think I have the disease. I don't want to tell anybody else, but I want to be safe, or I want to start collecting data. So there's a population that is comfortable with wearables right now. We're also looking at the long term. We know 10 years from now, people who are 60 and 70 who are familiar with wearables, that number is going to increase, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be diagnosed with these diseases and cognitive disabilities. So, but at the same time, we also understand that there's going to be a platform, or there's going to be a group of people who are resistant or may not have the capability to purchase a device. So it is a challenge, but we are looking at the long-term picture.
So I know that the app is still in development. You mentioned you got NIH funding for this, and so you're kind of in that ideation development phase of the project. But can you kind of look ahead and give me something of a case study or a scenario where you see this app being used to aid somebody in real life, day-to-day situations? On this channel, we typically talk about smartphone or tablet apps, but this is a smart watch app. So can you give us a picture of what it'll look like?
Absolutely. So we know right now that a lot of families are very concerned about falling. They may have a loved one that says, I fell today, or I just fell an hour ago. And in likelihood, they probably haven't fallen in a week, but caregivers don't know. So they have to unrobe somebody, check for bruises, maybe take them to a hospital, because hip injuries and broken hips can lead to a disaster. So they just don't understand, has it actually happened? Other families are really concerned about if a loved one is going to water. They'll lock all the doors on their home, and then could take a 3-minute shower and then rush downstairs with a towel on to make sure that their loved one is safe. Or they want to go to the grocery store, or right down the street, or maybe even a walk around the block, but getting their loved one into a car or to go on a walk with them may be challenging. So they want to understand, is their loved one safe? At the same time, this platform is also going to help researchers. Like I said, researchers want access to the data. They can sometimes spend 10 years developing a plan to collect data, and we're offering the ability to collaborate with them or share data with them so they can accelerate research much faster than they would on their own.
That's awesome. And you're so right. Just being aware of where your loved one is, being able to keep an eye on them or ensure that they're safe, even if they're not right next to you. That's huge for caregivers. I know when I'm with my loved one who has dementia, you're just always so aware of where they are, and you want to both be able to relax a little yourself, but also give them some space if that's what they're wanting. And so this app sounds very, very useful.
Yeah, Julie, I would also add this,
yeah.
I don't want to get technical, but when we talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can learn a person's behaviors every day. Even so much as, this is when somebody goes to the bathroom, or this is a period when a family experiences incontinence, and we know that is a major struggle. So we envision a day when we collect enough information and make that gentle reminder to a loved one, a caregiver that says, these are the times where your mom or your loved one, goes to the bathroom or may have a problem with incontinence. Here's an opportunity 30 minutes beforehand to make sure that they go to the bathroom, so everybody can avoid that problem. So it's things like that we can also use this technology for. And there's so many other applications, but we only have a short time. So
yeah, no, that sounds awesome. And that really gets to quality of life. So that's hugely important. Okay, I have one last kind of specific question. When do you anticipate that we'll see this project really come to fruition? When can we expect to see this app on the market?
So, very important question. I would say some people, a limited number of people, will see the app very soon. So we anticipate the end of the year, we'll be working with a group of people to do UX, UI, or getting the application usable for families and getting their input on how to make it better. That's going to happen this year. Next year, we intend to work with some other universities and academic institutions, hospital systems, to expand that and to do some testing. But at the same time, what I'm very concerned about is making sure that all this information that we are going to have is secure, is safe, meets all guidelines for HIPAA, GDPR, et cetera, and that people have the ability, if they ever want to say, I don't want you to share my data with researchers. So that is probably going to take a while. And so the public will probably see it in 18 months to 2 years. But we want to make sure that it's built correctly, it's built by caregivers, it's built safely. And so hopefully it'll be soon.
That's awesome. And you're right, that's such an important balance between getting something out there and then ensuring that it's safe to use and that it's really ready for the real world context. So thank you for taking the time to speak with us about this today. That exhausts all of my questions for you. Is there anything else that you want our viewers to know?
If they want to help our team build a better product, please feel free to reach out directly via the website, through my email. Julie, I'm sure you can share it with people. I love doing customer discovery. I love listening to people's stories. Even if you're dealing with this issue now, if you are just on the beginning of this journey, or if you've done this in the past, we learn so much from so many people. So we value input from so many people so we can make a better product to help people.
Perfect. That's wonderful. And I'll be sure to put the website and any contact information that you want me to share under the description of this video. And we'd love to get your comments, thoughts, questions for Jon, ideas for future apps. Just go ahead and drop them in the comments either below on YouTube or any of the other social media platforms that we share this video on. So thank you so much, Jon.
Thank you, Julie.
Please like, follow, and subscribe.